Take two. Tim Unscripted. This is what you're here for. This is what you're watching for. So I deleted the first 45 seconds that I recorded when I realized, hey, Tim, guess what? You got your headphones on. I don't need my headphones. I'm talking directly to the camera. I'm talking to you, my viewer. So I was leading off with the fact that I do these videos on the weekends, and this is Sunday. And so I've recorded typically 3 videos, and this is part of life lessons learned, small batches, work in progress. Minimize the work in progress, make sure that your batch size is small, it's more efficient. But that is not the point of this Tim Unscripted video. Plenty of content out there on the internet. I know experts. I got books. I could talk to you about this for days. That's part of product development. This is part of how we can deliver capability more efficiently, more quickly, lots of things. So, dialing back in, taking a term from our young adult daughters, locking in for you, not to be rambling for another 5 minutes or more. I belong to a not-for-profit board. I'm the chair this year for 2026. And one of the things that I like doing as a leader is I like having things, planned out and prepared and whatnot. And one of the things, so I'm going to go back a few months. So this is a view backwards. Something that came up in a prior board meeting when I was the incoming chair was, hey, where are our team norms? Where are where's our working agreement for how we work together? It would also be, I just had the words, Tim, they're hard. Concepts, they're difficult. Shoot. Darn it. See, I'm struggling. And this is the reason why it's Tim Unscripted, because I do blow it on camera sometimes. What? Team norms, working agreement, rules of engagement. Rules of engagement. I knew it would come to me. If you're still with me at 2 minutes and 30 seconds ish, once the light editing is done, congratulations. Thank you for bearing with me. The rules of engagement, how we interact with each other, how we speak to each other, and communicate in general, how we work together. That was a question mark I didn't have an answer for. And I'm sharing this meeting and I'm like, oh, wow. Yeah. What? Hold on. I talk about this. Talk about working agreements with the teams that I'm a part of for product development. I mean, this is kind of one of my, as a facilitator, this is what and I went, oh, wow. Okay. Wow. We got Houston. We have a problem up here. And so we ended up crafting a set of working agreements at our next board meeting in early December. And then subsequently, they were like the first thing that I put up for us to orient our thinking and our focus around before we even really got into the meat of the workshop yesterday. And that workshop, I felt, and of course my teammates on the board may feel differently. I like to believe that we all walked away at the end of that workshop feeling better about the direction, the strategic direction that we're focused on for the year for our members. And, the working agreement really set the tone. It set the tone for the entire day. And I asked, and we agreed that we do an entire day. It was like, I checked the recording, the transcript. It was over 6 hours that we were together, and we were, refining things and getting better focus and answering a bunch of questions, because our board is many new people. A lot of the legacy members, there's only a handful of us left, and I'm grateful for the members that rolled off and their contribution and the effort and the energy. I am so proud and delighted having been involved for I think this is my 4th year with this civic organization. But that working agreement, wow. I would never have thought that it would have unified us around a common shared set of acceptable behavior the way it did yesterday. Now, mind you, there was, some friction, which I think is correct, because we want to challenge assumptions. We want to get the best ideas out there. It was probably going to be one of my highlights for this year. And I'm hoping that our board meetings going forward into the future are equally as productive. And when we get together for mid-year planning, that, it's really important that we build understanding amongst ourselves in this team dynamic, whether it be what we're doing professionally, whether it be the areas of service that we do outside of work, even to an extent how we operate as families. I think setting healthy boundaries and seeing this work together, it's great application of common sense. As one of my colleagues, Randall, likes to say it, it's making the implicit explicit. It's just good sense to take some time and to work through how a relationship is going to operate, how it's going to function, whether it be a one-to-one or a one-to-many relationship. And I see the value in it. And again, I'm still going, how did we not have this in place before? And I think it was just an oversight. We were doing what we felt we needed to do without necessarily the right tools and framework and agreement in place to be even more successful and be more productive. And that's okay, because we learned from that. And I'm grateful for the people who spent the 6 hours with me in the classroom, in our office at Improving in Dallas, to really make some good progress and get some commitments on the board and to have an understanding of where we want to head. And I think that this is a tool that could solve a fair number of problems for a number of teams. And if this video really connects with you and you're watching it and you're thinking through your own team experience, I would encourage you to share it with somebody who might be interested. And we could talk through the alignment on that, and really use this as a starting point for a conversation that may be beneficial for not just you and your team, but your organization, because it's important. And again, it's an overlooked thing. Nothing wrong with it, not having one, but it sure makes life a little bit easier. And I think you get better results when you do have it out there, because you can refer back to it. It diffuses some emotional energy, because you can point back to the working agreement and say, talk with each other, not at each other or about each other. Talk with each other. Talk with each other. These are critical things. These are just little prompts to remind us that, we're dealing with fellow human beings, and everybody deserves respect and dignity because they are a fellow human being. And so if you take one thing away from this life lesson learned, it is I would encourage you to consider leveraging the power of setting those boundaries through a working agreement, through rules of engagement, through team norms, whatever you want to call it for whatever the group is that you're dealing with it, or, the one-to-one relationship, because this creates clarity, and clarity is kind, and it makes the implicit explicit, and it helps all of us build shared understanding and sets context. It makes you feel like you're valued at the end of the day. Thank you. Take care. You just wrapped up another life lesson learned, brought to you by Tim Unscripted.